What happens when a casino comes to town? Tonight we'll be discussing the environmental impacts of an expanded casino and destination resort in Saratoga Springs. I want to preface the talk this evening with the fact that we are not going to engage in fear-mongering. We want to be clear that the sites that we're going to talk about tonight are in different degrees of shovel readiness here in Saratoga Springs. But moreover, we wanted to inform our residents and citizens who are concerned about the casino expansion and what that means for large development on the east side of Saratoga Springs, particularly bordering our green belt. And this information is something that citizens should arm themselves with and be savvy about and wary of so that we can make the best decision for Saratoga Springs possible and inform others about what's happening here in town. So what happens when a casino comes to town? Things start to change. Every large-scale development changes the community it's located in and those communities surrounding it. The casino is no different. This is a quote from Mark Drayson, a Metro Area Planning Council member in Milford, Massachusetts, who has been long-standing and fighting casinos in their state. I think it's important to realize that when Mark Drayson is talking about casinos and the change that they're making to communities, he often aligns them with things like Walmart or Target or big box stores. And that's essentially what the casino resort style is bringing a big box casino into a community. So things start to change in our city and the country. Rural residential concerns. The Racino in Saratoga Springs is bordered by rural residential neighborhoods on three sides. Casinos in rural residential areas expose neighbors to increased traffic, noise, and light pollution well beyond that experienced with the existing harness racing track. This is from a board member of the Maryland who is doing research on the effects of casinos and expanded harness racing tracks in Maryland. In May 2013, the Racino proposed this hotel expansion. This does not include the casino expansion. It's pretty, right? It's moderate, right? Saratogians cannot be fooled. A hotel of this size and this nature could require up to 27,000 gallons of water a day in a city that is already strapped for water sources. A 5-story hotel seen from every direction within residential neighborhoods. There will be increased light pollution, and there will be increased traffic through neighborhoods to accommodate the increased number of guests and service deliveries anticipated. Furthermore, increased parking for 2.5 million guests per year will increase the impermeable surfaces and water runoff onto a street that is already laden with water runoff problems. There will be removal of extant green space for expansion. This is a fact that was stated at the Casino Fact-Finding Forum, where Skip Carlson said the soccer fields will be removed for future expansion. The Racino will incur another expansion if the license is awarded. This is a picture of the current Racino and its parking lot and entrance. You'll see below in the map a red circle that correlates to this entrance. If this entrance stays here as planned, and the hotel goes here, for which it's planned, where does the second expansion go? It gobbles up green space. We are planning a $30 million expansion this spring to include a 120-room hotel, performance center, restaurant, and other attractions. If it's awarded, another expansion would be necessary. A quote from James Featherstonehoff, a 25% Racino shareholder on the casino expansion at Saratoga Springs. Water. Again, a city already plagued with water issues. A resort-style casino requires a great deal of water. A 200-room hotel at 90% capacity uses 27,000 gallons of water per day. That's over 800,000 gallons per month. This does not include pools or spas. Casino and destination resorts often require their own water treatment plants and/or wells when placed in rural residential areas. Wells allow casino resorts to avert paying for city water. Saratoga already has significant water delivery issues. Resort-style casinos require a great deal of water, energy, and raising issues of waste and sewage disposal. This came from a great study out of Smith College that helped Massachusetts residents create an environmental impact study on resort casinos in that state. Large paved parking lots create water drainage issues requiring water basins. Nelson Avenue is already plagued with water drainage issues. Where will all this water come from? This is a very valid question in a city that already struggles with water resources and how to deliver them to certain parts of our city. Light and traffic pollution. Cities often underestimate traffic predictions. Patrons, tourists, buses, service trucks, and traffic patterns of employees often do not take into account traffic patterns in residential roads. Increased traffic, potentially overwhelming current infrastructure, and more greenhouse gas emissions. Again, a statement coming out of a Smith College study where I think it is important for us to realize that the city could foot the bill for a lot of infrastructure changes, and of course in a city that praises itself on being a balance between the city and the country, greenhouse gas emissions will be a great concern for some. This is an image of the Saratoga Racino working at night. You can see the trees being lit up by the lights that are on continuously through the evening. It currently operates from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. A casino license allows operation for 24 hours. A 5-room hotel and casino expansion will only add to the current light pollution issues in this residential neighborhood. Green space effects. This is an image of Cateros Creek. Wetlands here are tributaries of the Cateros Creek and already impaired waterways on the DEC list. Casinos are big developments, make no mistake. They bring changes. Changes can begin quietly and slowly. Often people who live in surrounding areas are unaware of what's happening. Rezoning in anticipation of big changes is already occurring. Before you know it, your city and the country is at risk, threatened, maybe even gone. This is an image of what a property that many of us call the Sheik's property. Today, this farmland is now zoned for bedding. Once zoned rural residential, the beautiful farmland across from the Racino has recently and quietly been rezoned as institutional horse. What does that mean? The property is now zoned to accommodate eating and drinking establishments, entertainment venues, helicopter pads, and pari-mutuel hotels. In this image, you'll see one proposition for the Saratoga Greenbelt. The Greenbelt is a system of trails for biking and walking and light transportation connecting all various parts of the city of Saratoga Springs. A great trail system which connects the entire city and the country, including Skidmore College, Broadway, the Spa State Park, and Lake Lonely. Sounds good, right? Wrong. The Greenbelt Trail, shown in green, is proposed to travel along Crescent Avenue, directly connecting the Gideon Putnam Hotel to the Racino, to Saratoga National Golf Course, and ultimately to Lake Lonely. Doesn't seem like there's anything inherently wrong with that. However, when you realize the properties that are being connected may or may not have big industry at the forefront of their mind, let's talk about that now. This area in yellow shows where the property is for the Gideon Putnam Hotel and Spa, which is operated by Delaware North, a Genting casino company. This Gateway property has recently been rezoned for the Turf Hotel, changing it to a large corporation owning what is the beginning of the Gateway area to the Greenbelt and to downtown Saratoga Springs. This 30.7 acres owned by BHMD Inc. is in the harness racing industry. And the Dudley Stud Management Farm has recently been rezoned for pari-mutuel hotels. This links to a final piece of property which we fondly call the Greenbelt here in Saratoga Springs that overlaps Saratoga National. Saratoga National has asked for a new zoning called Destination Resort Zoning or Destination Resort Overlay, which stands to change 800 acres of relatively pristine land from rural residential to building for resort destinations. So what does that mean? Here you'll see properties in two colors. The yellow colors are properties that are in the big industry or tourist industry, and you'll see in blue institutional horse industry. Large developers seek to change over 800 acres of Saratoga Springs' current rural zoning and turn it into resort zoning. And the large yellow swatch that came up last is the resort zoning overlay that connects the Adirondack Northway, ultimately the properties of the institutional horse properties, to Lake Lonely. In this slide, one can see the map of stormwater runoff for Saratoga Springs. You'll see the tributaries in blue running into various lakes Lonely and Cateros Creek. The property seen here is owned by BHMD Harness Racing Inc. with the racetrack property adjacent. It contains an input for drainage into the Cateros Creek tributary, already threatened on the DEC list. What our greenbelt could include in resort zoning: an academy golf building, an equestrian center, residential buildings for single families, apartments, or condominiums, spa and fitness centers, hotel lodging and associate amenities, golf cottages, bed and breakfast type lodging, affordable workforce housing, and retail space. Be aware, when developers in this resort zone offer to pay for these gifts of trails, walkways, biking, and recreation areas, they often come with a hefty cost to the city. Zoning changes favoring dense development, negative environmental impacts, traffic, noise, light pollution, and water issues. This is another view of Cateros Creek in Saratoga Springs. Our greenbelt was put into place for the benefit of future generations, not so investors can use their influence to whittle away at our land and our open space. A quote from the Greenbelt Alliance in Baylands, California, who fought with some difficulty to keep a casino out of their greenbelt. In addition, recently, Jeff Borneman, who is a former city planner for over 22 years and currently the Comprehensive Plan Committee Chair, stated that a casino turns its back on all the past planning. It does not offer sustainable social economic development. Is our city and the country at risk? The expanded casino at Saratoga Casino and Raceway will be built away from our urban core. This is in direct opposition to the city's working comprehensive plan. The new casino will border Saratoga's greenbelt, making it a casino in the country. When it comes to casino expansion, there is no compromise, no promise, no gift they can make that we can trust or build our future on. Thanks but no thanks. Saratogians built our past and should build our future.